Hi, my name is Caitlin Hansen, and I'm here to tell you about my EDGE project. If you don't know what an EDGE project is, and you probably don't go to SUU, it's a required program where students create a project and they go do it, and it looks good on their resume, and it kind of supplements their experience before they go out and find a job. And there's several different types of EDGE projects. There's community ones, there's environmental ones, outdoor ones, so on and so forth. I did my EDGE project through the Global Engagement Center. And what I did was last summer I went to France. I am a French education major, so it seems very obvious. I went there because I needed to have some kind of abroad immersion experience on my resume, because that's something that employers really like to see out of their teachers. And I also went to boost my comprehension and to learn about the culture. The project was actually a foreign exchange study abroad project that was already being given by SUU, and I just decided to make it my EDGE project. It was the French in France study abroad. Last May, it was May 3rd through the 23rd. Yeah, May 3rd through the 23rd. And just 3 weeks. And it was really, really amazing. We spent 2 weeks in Paris and one in Nice. And it was just the most amazing experience. I never thought that I was going to be able to go to Europe or study abroad or anything like that. And the EDGE project gave me that opportunity, and I really want to thank the Global Engagement Center for being so generous in giving me this opportunity, and being so generous in giving me a scholarship to have this opportunity. It was amazing. First off, when we went to France, me and the other students who were part of this study abroad, we studied at the France Langue Institute, and France Langue is basically a school just for teaching people the French language, and it has locations all over the world. We ended up going to one of their locations in Paris. They have several. Ours was the Victor Hugo location, I believe, Notre Dame. Very close to Notre Dame, so we got to hear the bells ring every hour, and it was really nice. And the windows overlooked this garden, and it was the cutest little location for our Paris one. And then we went to the one that they have in Nice, which is in like this old building. Very cool. So we spent our mornings going to these classes, and they were basic grammar classes, lots of conversation, much more in depth than like a 50-minute class that you would take at a school here in America. And it was just really, really interesting, because it's not just American students, it's students from all over the world who are there for all different reasons. We had a Japanese student who was running a boutique in Paris, and she needed to solidify her use of the language so she could run her business. And we had an Australian woman who decided she wanted to go to the Cordon Bleu School of Cooking, so she was brushing up on her French. We had a Moldovan student whose wife was working in Paris, and he needed to learn to get a vocabulary for a day-to-day basis. And then we had students like us from SUU who were just learning it at our own university and decided to come abroad. And it was really interesting. So I was meeting people from all over the world, and they had all different stories and stuff that we would tell in class because it was so conversation driven. We ended up watching lots of music videos, lots of YouTube clips, having lots of conversation about popular food in our own countries and stuff like that. It was very, very cool. And when we weren't in classes, we were running around like crazy trying to see everything. We went to 4 museums in Paris, and we went to 2 museums in Nice. I think it was 2 museums in Nice. In Paris, we went to Louvre and the Musée d'Orsay. Those are kind of the obvious ones, but we also went to Musée Cluny, which is a museum of medieval history, which was really cool. There's lots of like old weapons, armor. There's a narwhal tusk, which they thought was a unicorn horn, and it was documented as that for a long time before they found out it was a narwhal tusk. It's kind of funny. And we went to the Musée Carnavalet, which is a museum of French history. It has really cool, like, old signs, like the Chat Noir sign that you see that's kind of like an Art Deco style. It's been around for a long time, and there's, like, different styles of it everywhere, and we went to the French Revolution exhibit, and you can see into, like, these rebuilt rooms. So I saw the royal family's room, their cell, before they were going to be beheaded, and it was super luxurious with, like, blue wallpaper with little roses on it and nice furniture and everything. So I guess they weren't totally suffering in their final moments. What else did we do? We went up lots of tower tours. Went to lots of cathedrals. We went up the tower at Notre Dame, Notre Dame Chartres, and Notre Dame Paris. We went up the tower at Sacré-Cœur. We went up the Eiffel Tower on our own time. I went to the French catacombs on my own time, which was very, very cool. Everything's very stacked up very nicely and everything. It's very interesting seeing bones that have been around for so long, but it didn't feel exploitive. It felt very honored. Yeah, lots of cool arrangements of skulls and everything. I have a minor in anthropology, so it was just really cool to see that and, like, kind of see things that I knew about skulls and everything, and, like, see how old the people were and everything. What else did I do? On my own time, I went to another museum, which is the Centre Pompidou. If you don't know what that is, that's a modern art museum. And it's not my favorite type of art. I'm more of an impressionism kind of gal. So I was really looking forward to the Musée d'Orsay. But the Centre Pompidou is so cool. If you don't think you're a modern art person, that you don't think that you would like it, you might be proven wrong if you go. It just has so many cool installations. There's, like, experimental sound installations. There's one called Cafe Little Boy, which is probably the most sobering piece of art I've ever seen. If you go in to this room, they have blackboard lining the walls, and they have desks that are also covered with blackboard, and you can't even write on it anymore because so many people have written on these walls, and it's just caked with chalk. And it's really eye-opening how many people feel things for these people who were lost during the Hiroshima bombings. It's very, very somber, and it's a beautiful work of art to see everybody come together like that. In Nice, we went to a museum about Jean Cocteau, which was really cool. His style of art's very interesting. We went to a museum about the making of perfume that had old perfume bottles, not just old original release like Chanel No. 5, but old Egyptian ones and ancient Rome ones and ancient Greek ones, and it's very cool. I believe that's in Menton. So if you get a chance to go to southern France, then take a train over to Menton, because it's really cool. They have gardens where you can go in and smell certain fragrances that are common in French perfumery. And they have all kinds of like vats that they used to use to mix the perfume, and they have like things showing how scientific perfume is, like how they can mimic scents. Like they have little things where you can go in and you can smell them, and it smells like certain hallucinogenics, which was very interesting. Like you can actually mimic those scents with perfume. I thought that was pretty cool. Besides going and seeing all these cultural things, we also experienced lots of little C culture, like day-to-day living type stuff. We went to cafes and markets and bakeries for most lunches, and we'd step into little patisseries and chocolate shops and stuff like that, just to try things. You think that, like, there's like a stereotype that everything's very avant-garde in France and everything's small, but the sandwiches are on full-length baguettes, so that's kind of eye-opening, and the food is just absolutely delicious. I don't think I needed to tell you that. It's kind of a famous thing, but if you go to France, don't hesitate to try their food, because there's also lots of McDonald's around, and I know that can be tempting, but, you know, have an experience. It's great. We also rode the metro a lot. We stopped and listened to lots of street performers, looked at lots of street art. I ended up buying one up here. Can't really see it, but it's a watercolor of Notre Dame, which was probably my favorite part of the trip. Yeah. It was just really fun. It was a really fun experience, and I hope if you're doing an Edge project, then you think about going abroad, because it will just give you a different worldview. It will kind of open your eyes to what's going on in other parts of the world and not just our little Western America area. Yeah. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoy your time abroad or your time volunteering. I don't know if you're doing an Edge project, but I hope you see that it gives you lots of opportunities. And not just within your project, but afterwards. Yeah. Thank you.